it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you a really easy 2-chord song. It's called Jambalaya on the Bayou by Hank Williams. This song's like 70 years old now, and if you're not familiar with Hank Williams, he's like the grandfather of country music. So this is a really simple tune, but it has a lot of really essential country stuff in it, especially on the more basic end for beginning players, just because it's a 2-chord song. Now I'm going to show you how to play it in the easiest way possible, and then we're just gonna add some stuff to it until it sounds like how they would play it on the original recording. And this is just the rhythm guitar stuff. To start off, it's just a couple chord shapes, C and G. And 2-chord songs are super helpful for beginners, and if you're just getting started, C to G, like if these are your first 2 chord shapes, might be a little bit difficult to make them sound good. So I recommend using these 2 chord shapes. We'll start off with G, and then you just move these 2 fingers that way by 1 string. You get Cadd9, and it doesn't sound exactly the same, but it definitely works using these 2 shapes, and it's a really simple switch. You just leave those other 2 fingers down, and that's it. Because now we're just going to practice switching between those 2 chords like we do in the song. We're going to use downstrokes only. We'll add some rhythm later. For now, we're just counting and keeping the pace and making sure we're playing each chord for the right number of times. We're going to start off on C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay on G, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to the top. I'll use the easy ones. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, switch to G, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to C. Let's do one more round. So make sure you can do that, switching comfortably between the chords. If you're having trouble with that, I have a ton of resources that'll help you. There's my free ebook covering all the fundamentals of rhythm guitar, and that comes with a bunch of videos where we practice just switching from G to C or from C to D, whatever chord combinations, using all the basic chords, a bunch of strumming pattern stuff, all the fundamentals. So I recommend checking that out if you need some extra help. I also have a premium beginners course which takes you through like everything. So if you really want to improve and just have something you can practice along with, there's also that. Anyways, once you do have those chords down, we can add a strumming pattern. And this one's really, really simple. It goes like this. So that's super simple. It's just root, down, root, down. And root is just the lower notes of the chord. Rather than just strumming like this the whole time, we can make it sound a bit more musical by going. And we would count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's almost like what we just did, except we do a smaller stroke on beat 1 and on beat 3. That's what the root strum is. So it's like little stroke, big stroke, little, big. So I want you to pause the video now and just try doing that a whole bunch of times over the C chord, then a whole bunch of times over the G chord. Just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you count out loud as you do it, especially if you're having trouble keeping track of where you are. And before we put this together with the chord progression, I want to show you something that'll make this sound a little bit more authentic. Instead of playing it like this, we can do it like this. So the thing I'm adding is I'm shortening my chords. Instead of letting them ring out, I'm stopping them. And I'm doing that just by lightly touching the side of my hand. Might take a while to get used to that. Start really slowly, just strum, mute. And try to mute it as soon as possible. Over time, you'll get better at it. Don't worry if it doesn't sound amazing yet. Anyways, once we incorporate that into our strumming pattern on the downstrokes, not on the roots, but on the other ones, on beat 2 and beat 4, this is what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you speed it up, so take a minute with that. If you don't have it yet, don't worry. You can still play along, just doing long chords. It'll still sound fine. So let's try that together now, nice and slow, putting the strumming pattern and the chords together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 4, 2, 3. And you can do it with long chords too. Still sounds fine. So we could take what we just did and you could play through the whole song like that and it would sound fine. But there's yet another thing we can do. It makes it a little bit trickier, but it makes it sound a lot more like the original recording. Instead of just playing root, we can actually pick which bass note we're playing. So on our C chord, we would play this note, that's the 5th string, on beat 1, and then we would strum it. 1, 2. Then on beat 3, we would actually lift up this finger, put it on the lowest string at the 3rd fret, and we would use that as our bass note, and then we would strum it. So 3, 4. All in all, plucking the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you speed that up, that's what you get. And for the G chord, our bass note, the first one we would pluck on beat 1 would be here. 1, 2, and then on beat 3 we pluck the D string. 3, 4. When you speed it up, and then we could even add the shorter chord hits to it. And that would be very close to the rhythm guitar on the original recording. So take a moment, you can pause the video, and you can just figure out that alternate bass note thing. If you're not into that and you just want to play it really simply, you're totally welcome to do that too. Because what I'm going to do right now is just play through the song for a while using the alternate bass note thing. So let's try that really, really slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simplify it. Even using the easier chords. But let's go to the authentic way. Alright, so that's how you play Jambalaya on the Bayou. It's a pretty easy 2-chord song, and I showed you how to make it super easy, but also how we can add some techniques to it to make it sound a lot more like the original recording. And even though it's just a 2-chord song, it can be pretty difficult to get all that rhythm stuff together. Either way, if you need any help with this, don't forget about my free resources, my ebook. I have one for rhythm guitar, one for lead guitar, and also my premium course. Check those out if you need any help with the basics or getting past the basics. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you next time.